Okay, good evening, everyone in UAE and Pakistan. Hope everyone's doing well and enjoying the rains. If you're in Abu Dhabi, Alain, and Karachi, it's raining in Karachi, right, Sidra?
It is not raining yet, but it's
Okay.
going to be. We are hoping to have good rain, and it's
Okay.
expected tomorrow.
Okay.
So, high hopes.
So Abu Dhabi and Alain has a lot of rain right now, and Dubai people are waiting for rains to come their way, so they might have a day off. Anyway, so
Ah,
on
that's
that
great.
note, on that note, let's start with our session. And today we have a very special topic, which I feel is very close to both our hearts. So, Sidra, what do you
It
have
is.
to say about social emotional learning for like today's topic?
Social emotional learning for future classroom is something like we really want to see it implementing in the classrooms. We really want to see it not in the schools, not even in the universities, not even the in the homes, or communities, but it should be practicing beyond that, like beyond the schools, universities, educational institutes, but even everywhere. It is everywhere. So it is the need of time, it is the necessity of educational institutes, it is the necessity of everywhere. Like it's more important.
Okay, so when we talk about social emotional needs, for me, I think it stems from the fact that when I was going to school, my teachers were not very perceptive to like my feelings as a child. I mean, have you ever faced a situation when you were growing up and you felt maybe bullied or you felt that your opinion did not matter?
Yeah, it was a lot of times, like our teachers did not teach us in a way that is required today, and we were not even connected, we were not heard, we were not seen, we were not felt. So that was the basic thing, that was a basic thing that was missed during the classroom teaching, that we had not been conveyed during the activities, and in so many ways. So social and emotional learning is really important.
Okay, so let's move forward and let's just. Oh, that's us. We created AI avatars for ourselves because we decided it was something new to do, and definitely we are planning on some workshops um, where we will be talking about AI also, and you can enroll in those courses. You can connect with me or Sidra, and we're planning these actual live face-to-face workshops or via Zoom. So that apart, let's move ahead. We look very nice in these pictures, and but not that nice in real life. I like honestly.
That's why you created them. Look
Yeah.
really nice. Thank you.
Okay. Anyway, so let's move on. So, what's the deal with SEL or social emotional learning? Like, what is it? Why is it? Like, why the big fuss around it? What
It
do you
is
think?
something like it's a big confusion. Like, it has been there. It has been there in conventional teaching and traditional teaching as well. But people did not know what the term was, like how Castle adapted it, how Castle started this framework, and how it started with the five core competencies. So it was there, but it was not known. And the educators, the teachers were kind of working on that, but they did not know that how to focus on that. They were working, but they did not know that how to make it primary objective, to make teaching and learning an essential part, to make relationships an essential part, or to focus on a lot of areas that are very important today in this world, and to grow further in this world, and to be very socially and emotionally stable, emotional, sound, and well-beings. So healthy well-beings are like something like we have never worked on this areas, like when we were the children. And years back, if we see that, so teachers never catered the needs of the children. So now it is an important ingredient It is an important ingredient that's really really needed in this, in this era. So we really need to work on the emotional and learning abilities of the children, and we need to give them a society, or a very balanced society, there they can grow, there they can nurture, there they can do their best, there they can collaborate, share, and they can be emotionally sound well-beings.
Okay, so I feel that basically when we were growing up, like there was a big disconnect between, academics and the social emotional aspect of development. Like, I mean, we actually do not see the two coming together. Like, even as far as we grew up, as maybe the 90s and the early 2000s, but the early 2000s, I think, sort of triggered the need to actually blend academics and the social emotional aspect of development, because I think there was now a big talk about holistic development of a child rather than just the IQ or the academics or just like you know grade based accomplishments. So I feel that that is from where SCL actually, the movement of SCL actually started growing. Now we were talking about,
Exactly.
yeah,
Exactly. Since it was the era of technology, and how the technology era started, and the evolvement started basically, and everything started growing up like rapidly, industrial revolution and all that, and people started connecting more. So when the countries started connecting, people started connecting more, we would have this, this advancement in internet and technology. So people needed to have this need of to how to work in the teams, and how to collaborate, and how to be socially balanced in a way. So that actually started.
exactly. Now let's move on to the core competencies basically of SCL, which is like, which one do you think is your favorite? Like, which one would you focus on if you were in a classroom? I mean,
I
or
w-
what, in your personal
to
life, which
me,
one do you focus most on?
yeah, to me, but yeah, all are important, and I would focus all of them, because I think if I would just minus one, so then four would be left. But I need to add all of them, and I need to work on all those areas. So these are all important. So if you know yourself, and you know your emotions, you know your strengths, you know your values, you know the perspectives, you know about yourself better. So this is self-awareness. But if you just take out this thing that you don't know about others, you don't know about their perspective, you don't empathize them, so you don't know about the social awareness. You don't regulate your emotions, and you don't know how to regulate others emotions as well, so you don't know about the self management. And there, then you don't know how to take the decisions, how to take the honest and responsible decision, smart decisions, not hard decisions on yourself. So something like these all are important. This is the blend of Kessel, framework, and this is really important. So like you and I are connected, so this is because of relationship skills. See.
Now, I feel that like if you miss out on developing any one of these competencies, you're actually sort of like you said, and I'll put it in other words, it's like you sort of,
Mm-hmm.
it's like a building, you take out a block and the whole building basically collapses. And ultimately I
Ah,
feel
exactly.
that without social awareness or self awareness or self management or responsible decision making, it is basically the relationships that are ultimately suffer. And if we look back, or even if we look at the current situation right now, I feel people are failing in their relationships, because maybe they were not taught to self manage their emotions, or they were not taught that, not taught social awareness. So like we come across so many things. I think I just read, or I came across this video yesterday where there's this girl who's being harassed by some men for wearing something, right?
Yeah.
It's
Mm-hmm.
it's
Yeah, it was in
pertaining to,
Arabic. Yeah, the controversies were like,
exactly. So keep
come on.
illiteracy apart.
Yeah.
Keep keep illiteracy apart. I feel that it was like social awareness that was missing from those people, I'm taking out illiteracy from the equation right now, and I'm just being focusing on their social emotional development where they needed to develop as human beings. So if they would have
Exactly.
been totally aware of her rights, or of the fact that is in her personal space, they cannot invade it, all that would not have happened, right? This is what I
If
believe.
yeah, and if they would have this social awareness, like how to empathize the others, and how to see the others perspective, that why that girl was wearing that thing, and whatever the reasons were. So how would, if they would not see what the other situation is, so how would they cope up with their emotions, and empathize others? So it's everywhere. It's everywhere. It's practically at our workplace. It's everywhere. But we see that people lack this skill. Children lack this skill. Educators lack this skill. Teachers lack this skills.
Definitely, I feel that it's I think teachers who need to first, not just teachers, it's like generally the school management, the school leaders, the teachers who need to actually first implement these and instill these competencies within themselves. Like self awareness is actualization, realization where I might
Exactly.
go wrong and accepting it, like, and then making things better, right? I mean, how can
Hmm.
you teach a child to make the right decision if you are making
If
irrational
yeah.
decisions yourself?
Hmm.
Correct?
So exactly, absolutely. And we need to model SEL, being educators, being leaders, being teachers. We need to model it. You model it, you practice it, your children would follow you. Your subordinates would follow you. Your colleagues will follow you, and you would see that how it would work.
Okay, so now let's move on to one of my favorite questions. I mean, is social emotional learning and emotional intelligence, are they the same thing, or are they like distant cousins, like at a family reunion? What do you think? Like, are they related to each other, or are they the same thing, or do they help each other? Like, what's your opinion about that?
They are relatives, they are cousins, not at all distant family members or something like, but they are the family members. Something like, it's a very close relation between emotional intelligence and social and emotional learning. So if we see the core competencies, 5 core competencies of KSEL framework, so EIS, emotional intelligence, is something talking about the self management, talking about the self awareness. If you don't know about yourself, you don't know about your values, you don't know about your emotions and how to regulate them. So how would you be able to do the managing thing? How would you be managing your emotions? How would you be managing in the context that's required? So you are missing the biggest element of EI, emotional intelligence. And emotional intelligence is far important than IQ today.
True, I
it's it's
agree.
it's, it's,
I
it's
think we,
like,
yes.
yeah, so it's really very important. So we can't minus this EI from SEL. So SEL is something like EI is already there. So EI is the basic element of SEL, and together with EI and SEL, we can make the better societies, better workplace, better educational institutes, and better humans.
I feel that with emotional intelligence, I mean, if you're missing out intelligence like IQ,
Yeah.
the intelligence quotient, it's okay, because you can still do work, you can still have certain skills, and you can get by in life. But if you're
Mm-hmm.
missing out on emotional intelligence or the emotional quotient, your emotional quotient is low, I feel everything starts failing. And that is the place where, that is the
Right.
part where you are unable to comprehend the SCL competencies. Like, I mean, it's as simple as not being a, it's sort of being, disabled in a manner, right?
Exactly, disabled, and you are not aware of yourself. Like, no, Aristotle says, knowing thyself. When you know yourself, when you know about yourself, so you start learning about others, and when you start learning about others emotions, so then you better understand about the emotional intelligence concept. And you can't just take out this emotional intelligence from SEL, because SEL is also taking you towards the societies, to make you socialize, and in a very positive way. forming
How
the
do you
positive relationships.
how do you think parents today can develop like EI in like emotional intelligence in their children today? Because from what I'm looking at, from the perspective
Mm-hmm.
or from the
Mm-hmm.
situation, and from the a comparative thing that I can comparative analysis that I
Mm-hmm.
do with, between two countries and cultures,
Mm-hmm.
I feel that from both, to be very honest, parents are actually missing out on
Mm-hmm.
emotional intelligence development in their children because they're cushioning their children too much from. I mean, I think they're being too overprotective. They're
They
not
are
giving
over
their
pampering them. Hmm.
yes, yes. I mean, you
Exactly.
get my point.
Hmm.
These children today are being overprotected. They are being over cushioned. They are being like sort of put in a glass box where trauma should not touch them. So, what do you think? Do you think this is the right
It's
approach?
no, this isn't the right approach, and this can't be. If they are making their children so pampered, so overprotected, something like they nobody can touch or harm them. But if they won't come out of their comfort zone, if they won't not step into the growth zone, if there would not be that caterpillar that starts popping out and coming out of its shell and seeing the world, what the world is, the adventures are waiting for the children. The learnings are real, learnings are on ground when you go outside the world, when you come out of your comfort zone. So the learning, actual learning starts. So the parents need to have need to work on this and need to think differently and need to have a different perspective about it. It's not like
Like,
you are shielding your children and you're protecting your children and you're giving them everything on their plate, but you are
I
not
mean,
preparing them for future.
I actually come across parents like who are who go to the school management or the teacher and they argue that no, my child is perfect and they deserve a 90%. Just do whatever you can and increase the grades or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, potentially, are parents really not aware of their child's potential, or are they just like sort of? I mean, what is this? I can't even frame the question, but I'm like, what is this in terms of SEL and
It is
EI?
something like parents are not aware. Yeah, parents are not aware that how academically their children are gifted, because they don't want them to experience it. They don't want them to learn. They don't want them to grow, and not even academically. If they just give them the free hand, so they would know that how good they are at building relationships, doing far away from their world. So
So,
they
I mean,
always perform better when they are with their friends. Children are always like that. They're very smart.
honestly, I prefer my mother's upbringing in this regard that when like I would get bad grades, she knew and she gave me a reality check. And to be very honest, that sort of developed my skills to a certain extent where I knew that I had to prepare and work hard. I mean, at a point, she actually told me, it's up to you now, you fail or you pass. I don't care. And, just do whatever you want to. She left me
Uh,
on
th-
my own. And
yeah,
that,
that's great that she gave you that
yes,
freedom. Yeah, that she
exactly.
gave you that freedom. She trusted you, but you had that potential. So their parents have to understand this, and they must give this freedom to their children.
I mean, I think no. I'll tell you something about it's a like personal thing. As a kid growing up, I was a very rebellious kid, and from the three of us that my mom had, I think I was the weirdest. Not like most. Uh, I was the kid who would not want to study. Okay, and my brother and sister were opposite. So at a point in time, my mother actually told me, do whatever you want to. I am not responsible for you anymore. You are at an age where you need to start taking your own responsibility. I think if my
Hmm.
mother had not told me this thing, that now
That
I
she would
don't get,
yeah,
yes, I
exactly.
don't think I would
Hmm.
have taken responsibility for my own actions. Because I remember coming home one day from school and telling her, Mama, I might fail in Islamic studies in school, but I promise you that I'm going to work hard for the board exams. And Sidra, you will
And you are
not
going
believe
to
it.
ace it. Yeah.
I cannot believe it still to this date and
Hmm.
era. I actually got the second highest marks in my school in that
That's
subject.
great that
Yes. So
Because
I
of
think
that freedom and because of that responsibility that was given to you, yeah, at the right time. So that's really important.
exactly,
That is also about one of the part of it.
exactly. So
It's
I mean,
interesting,
I
it's going
think
interesting, yeah.
so. I think that parents need to actually realize the true potential that their children have, and instead of
Hmm.
putting the blame on teachers, they need to actually come up with an action plan with teachers as to like, okay, like how responsible do I make my child, right?
Hmm.
Like what do
And
I
together
do?
we can, yeah, together we
Yes.
can, work on these strategies and the plan. And of course, you will get the
I mean,
results.
I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to translate this part into like Urdu. इज दैट कि अगर आप अपने बच्चे को
Hmm.
कुशन रखते हैं पूरी जिंदगी, उसको रियलिटी चेक नहीं देते हैं, तो वो बड़ा होके बहुत डिलूजन हो जाता है, क्योंकि
Exactly.
उसके पास उसको उसको वो रियलिटी पता ही नहीं होती कि उसका ट्रू पोटेंशियल है क्या। आपके तो अम्मा अब्बा ने
Mm-hmm.
आपको हर वक्त ये बताया ना कि यू आर द बेस्ट, यू आर द बेस्ट, लेकिन जब वो एक्चुअल रियल लाइफ में जाता है तो वो ये नहीं समझ पाता कि मतलब उसको एक शॉक मिलता है, राइट? और वहां से सारी
Exactly.
प्रॉब्लम स्टार्ट होती है।
It should start from home. SEL should start from home,
एग्जैक्टली,
while parenting and, this upbringing sessions. It should start from home. So the child should know that what the potential he has and how far he can go. What are his goals? What are his aim of life? What are the responsibilities he has to shoulder, and he has to see in future.
एग्जैक्टली। ओके, नाउ लेट्स मूव अहेड एंड टॉक अबाउट हाउ डू आई ब्रिंग SCL magic into my classroom. Like what is your recipe for SCL into your, like, in your classrooms?
Yeah, I remember that, I always had, always had connected with my students. I was very close with them. And after the weekend, we always had once 10 to 15 minutes talk, one-to-one talk session used to be with, with the students. I was like, I used to ask them that how were they doing, how was their weekend, and how they used to be, over the weekend. And if somebody got absent, like, like what were the reasons or something like that. So I always lended my hand towards them. I always listened to them. I always had, active listening sessions with them, that what they had been going through, what they had been doing. So that always made them connected with them and to form the, relationships. I still have the connection with all those students. They always share their stories with me. I'm their former English teacher now, but they always share their stories. They always reach to me, teacher, could you please edit this writing for me? Could you please proofread? Could you please just check that? Could you please help me out with that question? I'm still struggling. I have a debate competition that's coming up. Could you please just help me for that? I'm just adding you in that group, that group, and then just let us know that how you can help us. And we have very limited time. So something like
I
I
think
started connected with the students. So
I
this is
think I
very
think the word
important
you
that you're
used
connecting.
I think the word that you used was active listening.
Yeah, active listening is really important.
That
Be
is a key
active
skill.
listening. Yeah, active listening is a skill. And sometimes what do? We listen without preconceived thoughts. Like I would make my own mind before listening to you, and I would say, oh, she's gonna say that. Oh, he has this something, he's going to ditch me with the homework. She's not going to, do the homework. She's not going to participate. She has all that, dramas. So she's going to cry. So I would always give them my shoulder to cry, and they always would, appreciate it. I would always ask them if they would hungry, if they were hungry, if they would need me, if they would like to cry, if they would like to do something. So, we formed this relationship. So that was always a magic something, that you give the space to children, you listen to them, you give them responsibilities of their own actions, and you make them, concluded, heard, seen, listened
You know,
also.
I'll tell you something what I did. I mean, I actually consider that, and this is something that was taught to me when I was like when we were training to become teachers. Um,
Mm-hmm.
to leave your personal problems outside the classroom, right? Personal,
Mm-hmm.
professional problems outside the classroom. It is
Mm-hmm.
something that I actually tied down to myself. and for me my class is my safe haven, as you say. But
Mm-hmm.
for some reason always had very tough classrooms, like highly intelligent hyperactive kids in the classroom. It was very hard to manage. So I mean, I remember I was doing my med at that time, and that is when I started giving a lot of autonomy and a lot of responsibility to my students, and making
Mm-hmm.
them think as adults and making them think of
Mm-hmm.
me as a human
Mm-hmm.
being. Because when kids just think of you as a teacher, they think that
Mm-hmm.
you cannot have a fever, they think that you do not eat, they think that they cannot see you in a shopping mall, they think, and
It happened with me twice or more
yes,
than thrice.
and they're like, yes, you went
And then, yeah, you were shopping? How come? How come you
okay.
were shopping?
Yeah, so what I started doing was, I obviously, to build that relationship with my students, I actually started letting them see me in a more human light. And they would actually bring water for me. I mean, they would look at my face and they would say, oh, today she's got a migraine, let's be quiet, let's be good kids. That was a particular
Hmm.
type of
Because you
self-awareness.
modeled that and then they
Yes,
followed you. So this is the
exactly.
special care that you get it from your students, from your children,
Yeah.
and you
I
feel
mean,
so
I think
empowered and so good.
so. I think there's a lot of way you can bring SEL magic into the classroom, and one of them is to make people realize that to make the kids realize that you are also a human being, and you can make a
Mm-hmm.
mistake. Like, make a
Mm-hmm.
deliberate mistake on the
Exactly.
board. Yeah, make a
Yeah.
deliberate mistake on the board and say, oh, okay, I'm sorry, I did this. Accept your your mistake, apologize for it, and the next day the kid will actually learn that, okay, if you make a mistake, it's okay to say sorry and move on, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
And
those are the small.
it is really, yeah, and it is really important that you apologize, with your students, and you say sorry to them, whatever you have done wrong in the past. So it is like, it is for them like to learn a lesson. Your teacher can apologize, teacher can say sorry, so why not I when I make mistakes? So and if you say thank you, so then they feel like, okay, they feel grateful. So something like we should do these small practices: being grateful, being sorry about the things, and setting the boundaries, doing the things that they want. And they are important. You not only the teacher is important, the students are important, their goals are important, their
And
life
that's
is
how
important.
relationships will evolve. And
Yeah.
when they and that's how I think the kids will grow up learning that they have to take care of another human being, right?
Mm,
And
exactly.
it spreads to the community. SEL is not just about the classroom or the school, it's about
It's
the
beyond that.
community.
It's
Yes, it's
communities, it's
beyond that.
beyond that. Doing this at
Exactly.
home, doing this the with the communities, and doing this far far away, like when you are growing up, and and you are learning this skill, you are mastering the art of SEL, so you would be doing better at your workplace. Those who are not
Exactly.
doing at their workplace better today, they were not taught this SEL, or might be they were
They
not, yeah, they were not brought up in a way like like that was required.
but for adults, it's an option. They can opt out of learning anything, or choose to just ignore something and not change their ways. So, but for kids, we can actually teach them.
Exactly, adults can learn this SEL skills also, and they can start regulating their emotions, and they can deal in a better way, they can perform better.
Definitely. Okay, so should we move on?
Yeah, sure. So
Okay,
do
so
we
now
have
we have
audience, do we have somebody? Sorry,
we do
Vidya.
have a few people, but we have more people on LinkedIn, and we can't see their comments actually at this point. So anyway, let's okay, these are case studies. So I'm going to be asking you these questions now. So Miss
Oh,
Patel is
sure.
a seasoned teacher, and she's been noticing a lack of empathy and cooperation among her fifth grade students. So she's trying to create this supportive environment, okay, but teasing and exclusion have become more and more frequent. What should she do? Like,
She
how
should
should she?
have, yeah, she should have some clear instructions for the students. She should set the clear instructions, and she should set some goals for the class. and she should include something like SEL strategies in the classroom, like in the discussion. She should practice some more activities where she's particularly talking about the SEL, like how to be empathetic, how to be kind to others, because kindness is the one thing, like people
Yeah.
forget that they should be kind enough. So something like the classroom, if a classroom is not supportive and children are teasing each other and they are bullying, or they are doing, they are they are not being empathetic, and they are not being cooperative. So first, she should teach the kindness through her behavior, her gestures. She should model it, she should practice it, and she should make some clear goals, clear rules, and share some stories, add some TED talk, add some the videos, visuals, something like where you are practicing kindness, where children are following you, where they are learning about empathy, where they are going beyond empathy. So then they are learning about the compassion, how to do, how to be compassionate towards others, animals, things, everybody. So like something like that.
I'll give teachers a tip over here. There are actually
Mm-hmm.
websites where you can get SCL learning packs and you don't
Hmm.
have to pay for them. Okay, and
That's great.
also, yeah, and also Magic School, which is an AI based platform. It allows you to
Mm-hmm.
create your own SCL activity for any of the competencies or domains or whatever you want to, and
Mm-hmm.
it's very easy. It's free for teachers. It's very easy to use.
Amazing.
So you have
That's
you have
really good.
Twinkle.
Hmm.
You have Twinkle as a website where you can download SCL resources to implement in your classroom. You have
Hmm.
Teachers Pay Teacher,
I've
which is
seen
free
there
for,
also, huh?
yeah.
Yeah.
So they have, and if you make an account on these websites, there are these are freemium websites.
The
Okay, yeah.
mm-hmm.
It means like some content is free, some is paid. So teachers can actually
Mm-hmm.
just simply download worksheets or download like play packs from there. But
Mm-hmm.
uh, Magic School actually allows you to create your own specific to that topic SCL
Interesting.
activity. So
Mm-hmm.
maybe Ms. Patel did not know about these websites or these.
You can create personalized lessons.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes,
that's amazing.
personalized
And
lessons.
yeah, requirement of each lesson, each class varies, and there must be different situations. So you can customize it on Magic, and that's a great idea.
So, and to be very honest, these are all like most of the stuff there is free, and Magic School for Teachers is actually free. So we just need to learn how to use things and how to explore things on our own. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
another case study. So Mr. Johnson is a high school teacher who notices a rise in stress and anxiety levels.
Hmm.
Now, we all know why anxiety and stress levels, rise in students. So,
It actually erupts. Sometimes it erupts.
yes. So,
It goes
what
so
would you,
like, yeah.
what strategy would you implement for your students to actually like sort of, feel less of these type of emotions?
I would always practice this mindful exercises. They are the game changer. I would always do it. That just be relaxed and say relax in your mind, and just go with that breathe in for 1 2 3 4 5, and breathe out for 1 2 3 4 5, and then just say relax, relax, relax. So that would calm their muscles. And when they're so chaotic, when they're so like like already so puzzled, confused, nervous before the exam period, so we need to calm them, we need to calm their muscles. So calm their muscles, let them just do this mindful exercise, give them a brain break. And it always worked for me. And even sometimes I used to do the 5 minutes meditation exercises as well. I used to take them to imagination, like close your eyes and just think of your favorite scene, and you are just sitting close to the beach, and you are doing like your toes are actually touching the cool mud, and you can feel the splash of water in your face. I used to
Okay,
do it with
really?
my students, and it used to work magically. And they used to be like, oh, they used to, fall asleep, and it worked
Yeah.
wonder.
Okay, so what I would actually do is I would take away the learning material for some,
Mm-hmm.
for gaps of time. I think
Mm-hmm.
detachment from
Hmm.
what you're from
From
your
that learning material, yeah,
yes,
exactly.
from that learning material, or from that thing that's inducing your anxiety, and
Hmm.
distracting
Right.
yourself for a certain time period. And maybe I
Hmm.
would take them out to the playground, or
Hmm.
do make them do some physical activity,
Hmm.
because if you're not physically active,
That would be
your stress,
distracted. Yeah.
yes,
That would distract their mind. Yeah.
yeah,
Great.
your stress and anxiety levels also actually depend on how
Hmm.
physically inactive or active you are. So I think
You're
I
right.
would, yeah, I
There is
would
a
do those.
lesson for me too.
I
Since I'm working remotely now. So
I
you're
am
right.
actually a very, I'm a person who likes walking, who likes swimming. So
Hmm.
for me, being physically active or just cleaning the house or doing my household work myself is very
Hmm.
important, because I feel that when I'm doing all that, it's like me not thinking about what the world is,
Hmm.
throwing my way. And I'm like, okay,
Hmm.
fine. I'm in my zone right now. Okay.
And
Yes.
sometimes, but yeah, this decluttering works also. Like, when you are
Exactly.
outzoning yourself, you are decluttering something, you're organizing some stuff, you're planning, you're writing, you're journaling. I taught my students to do journaling as well. And they had this, they actually built this passion of writing, and they still send me journals. And they
I
always have a
actually
theme of January coming, February, or something like. So they
I
write
actually
theme
sent
journals.
my sister a picture, and and there were affirmations written on it. Okay. Like
Hmm,
those
yeah.
affirmations were like, I am the best. I know I can do it. And she said, you're still doing all these things. I said, yes, when people try to make a mess, and I feel my stress levels are rising, I actually write down good things for myself.
That's amazing. That really
Yes,
works actually.
it
Yeah.
actually works, because you need to sometimes.
Affirmations always work. But yeah, even if you're not even writing, you're listening to any affirmation, something, so it meditates. It is a way of meditation. So it always works wonderfully.
I downloaded this app last year
Hmm.
because I was
Yeah,
suffering
great.
from a lot
Hmm.
of anxiety, and that app would periodically, like throughout the day, give you 8 or 10
Hmm.
affirmations, reminders.
Hmm.
And you had, like, all you had to do was, even if you look at your phone, the reminder is there.
There,
It
yeah.
says,
Hmm.
it says you can be your best self today. I mean, you don't have to open the app, you don't have to do anything, but because we are so
Hmm.
used to having the phone in our hand, right? Like next to
Hmm.
us. And we do,
Hmm.
I'm sure all of us are in the habit of looking at
Hmm.
that, checking the screen. So if
And
the
then you get the
reminder,
reminder.
yes,
Amazing.
it sort of subconsciously
Hmm.
goes down in your mind, and you are able to
Hmm.
think, yeah, fine. You know? So I think those are the type of tricks and techniques, like what you said, what I said, that needs to be taught to students in order to control their stress and anxiety levels, right?
Hmm. Their mental health is really important, and how they
Exactly.
are performing in exam is important, but it is least. It should not, it should not be at the top priority, that you are putting yourself, your health at risk just for
For,
exam.
for parents, for parents in Pakistan, I would specifically say this,
Hmm.
that if your child fails in a class, even if it's a board level class, come
Hmm.
5 years down the lane, no one is going to ask you. No one is going to
Exactly.
ask, yes, no one is going to ask, did your child pass in all the subjects in grade 3, or were they detained? So stop putting that irrational uh,
Pressure.
pressure on your kids to
Hmm.
achieve a 90. I mean, come on, not every child is
This
blessed
is
in
so
math.
unrealistic. Like, how could they even think of it? Just let them know that they do their best. So they would pull it. When you set the high achievements for them, and when you set the unrealistic targets that are not going to be achievable, but when you are with them and in their decisions, and when you set their targets that I know you can do their best, they would go at their higher level, and they would show that they would do their best. That's
True.
important.
That's the thing that matters, right? So I
Exactly.
say, and I think when a child actually fails, they learn something. So
Hmm.
let them fail. Let them fail once in a while. Let them not have everything given to them, like we just discussed earlier, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, why is social and emotional learning the classroom's secret sauce for a future full of awesome? So, what is your opinion on SEL being the way forward for classrooms?
As we have been talking about it since it started, like it's really important, it's everywhere, it's essential, it's the necessity, and it starts from the foundational level. It starts from your home. It starts from the very early years. Like you start speaking, you start socializing with your toddler friends, and then you start growing up, you start visiting the school. So then it's really important. And if we see the future scope, so if we see the future forward ready classrooms, so if you are not emotionally well, you are not sound, you are not healthy, you can't make the happy schools without the happy children. It's really important. So happy teachers and happy children would make the happy schools, and then would make the happy societies and happy workplaces. So this is really important. It should not be like you are putting yourself at risk, and you are ignoring yourself, and you are not working on yourself, and you are not socially and emotionally well aware, and you are doing those things that are not required. So that's really important that we start focusing on it. So that's the main ingredient of the classroom, not of the classroom, but beyond that even.
Obviously, like of the when we talk about the classroom, it means the classroom of today becomes the community and the broader
Mm-hmm.
culture of tomorrow, right? So if SCL is implemented, if we are nurturing children's hearts and minds and emotions
Mm-hmm.
today, that means we are actually making wholesome citizens for tomorrow,
I love
right?
this, nurturing hearts and souls. So hearts and
Yes,
souls and minds. So we need to nurture in a way that they would be wholesome, they would be a full package, and holistic education would be a part of it. That's the
true.
main requirement. Grades do not matter. What matters is the skills matter. What matters is that emotional learning matters. The social and emotional learning and the relationship with people, that matters.
True. Okay, now what's it? This is an actual recipe for disaster, I believe, right?
Hmm.
Okay, so what
Right.
do you think Miss Smith is should do? What should
So she's a
her?
new Yeah, she is
Yeah.
a new graduate from a teaching program, has just started her first year as a third grade teacher. So while she excels in delivering academic content, she has received minimal training. So she should take our session, or she should take some PD sessions, or she should take some refresher, because she hasn't been given this SEL training. So what would we expect from her, that she would be fostering this holistic development and working on the students skills? So that's missed at the management part. So she should be taught, she should be given this training first, I guess. And once you don't know that how to deal with this with some situations with and how to be in certain conflict situations, and how to deal with some context, how would you deal better while you are in the classroom, you are dealing it, you face it on daily basis. There are some teachers, they face this behavioral issues on daily basis. Students do not
True.
understand them, students do not want to understand them, students give them tough time, and they give them the worst time to those
But
teachers because they.
I will very realistically say something over here. No doubt Miss Smith needs to go back to her head of department or head of section or whoever and ask for PD sessions and one-on-one counseling, maybe to be able to implement SEL practices. Sometimes children are
Mm-hmm.
innately um, trouble creators, right? So at that point, teachers need
They
to be
are.
able to distinguish. Yes, I mean, I am recently encountering a kid whose parents have sort of
Mm-hmm.
given up. He's a
Okay.
very
Mm-hmm.
young, a very very young kid, and
Mm-hmm.
he's a pathological liar. I'm sorry, but this is, he lies to his parents, he lies to his friends. He
Mm-hmm.
is like, and there is nothing wrong with his development, or there's nothing wrong. The first thing you do
Mm-hmm.
is you think, okay, there's something wrong with the family, right? There
Mm-hmm.
is something wrong in his upbringing. No, his elder
Yeah.
brother's completely fine. His parents are really good people. So there is
Mm-hmm.
something innately with this kid, right? So the teachers need to
Mm-hmm.
be able to actually distinguish whether it's a case that needs to be referred to a psychologist, or
You're
to a
right.
psychiatrist.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
Mm-hmm.
not
Mm-hmm.
everything can be resolved in the classroom itself, right? So
Exactly, for such situations, yeah, if the
yes,
situation is like complex, so yeah, you should take the advice from the counselor or the psychologist, or you should refer that child particularly and discuss this matter with the other teachers. They might have dealt with that same child in the previous classes, previous grades, or something like. And when, if you don't know that how to come across with such situations, so discuss with the psychologist. That
exactly.
would help.
And definitely parents also need to have a reality check that, okay, fine, it is time that I took my child to like a professional who can help my child in a much much better way, rather
Yeah,
than just ignoring, being an ostrich and putting your head in the sand and not acknowledging that your child can have an actual problem.
exactly. And there, when the adults, the parents and the teacher identify this, the problem, and how to regulate the child's emotions in a very positive way, so that SEL would come here, right?
Definitely.
Like working for the betterment.
Okay. Okay, so SCL being part of every subject
Yeah, could
to
be. It can be integrated. Yeah, it can be integrated. You can teach SEL while you are teaching English, while you are incorporating maths, while you are having your SST lesson, history or geography lesson. You can teach SEL while you are teaching any language. While you are teaching anything, even arts, anything, any subject, because SEL is everywhere. You can collaborate students. You can make them in teams. You can divide them in teams. You can promote the teamwork. You can promote the responsible decision making skills. You can make them self manage their themselves and their skills, and like channelize their energies and synergize.
also I feel like even in math, like for example, if you think that it's too difficult for math, I think SCL integration into math is pretty easy. You're talking about sharing at the basic, like at the elementary level classrooms.
Mhm.
Talk about sharing, like fractions. Okay, let's break this into half, give half to your friend. What did you do? You shared. How did your friend feel? Like that type of thing.
Exactly. And you can teach from the very early age. And as you mentioned, that early years, and not even like in all the subjects, you can incorporate SEL easy, like in all the subjects, while you are teaching them the dancing skills, while you are teaching them the music, while you are teaching them the Islamic skills, the mathematics skills, the language skills, anything.
I think it should be very easy to integrate SCL into Islamic studies or moral studies or moral education, something like that. I,
Yeah,
I guess.
we can give lots of insights and lots of examples from the prophets lives, and from the Quran, hadith and sunnah. We can practice this SEL, and it's
True.
very much there in Islam.
Okay, let's move on to the last part. Okay, now what is, like, I think we've already talked about this a lot,
Yes.
but what would be something that you'd say to the teachers when it comes to spilling SCL, like, about SCL, your
Yeah,
message.
Wajiha, I always tell them that build relationships, connect with your students, they complain that, Sidra, I can't make it, I can't take this, anymore, and this is getting more. So, I always tell them, connect with them, build relationships with them, talk to them when you start the class, talk to them, connect, think of think of their situations, empathize, be empathetic. Be empathetic. It's really a skill. Like, people take it like, what would we do? Like, if you are a teacher and you can connect with your students and you can empathize that where are they, you would understand their problems, you would understand their issues, you would help them grow their grow and achieve their goals. You would help them grow, you would help them achieve their shorter and long term goals, and you would set their targets and go together in harmony and be at peace. So
And
this is all I always suggest: build relationships, be compassionate, be empathetic.
I think for me, SCL is not just for teachers or schools. I think parents, especially people who have just become
It
parents,
is.
or who are, yes, it's for them also. So parents should also learn about social emotional learning and how to so that
uh,
they can integrate it into their
exactly.
child's upbringing.
Vajia, like, what I see, like, are not are not interested in, like, in their learning. Like, why not? Why it's not ever late, like. So you should go ahead, you should start learning about your children, about parenting, about grooming, about their upbringing, and you should incorporate also these things too. So social emotional learning, is something like parents should start, exploring it at very early age. If they don't know that how to work with their children socially or emotionally, they would be, like, always, then in a very dark side. Like, they would not be aware of a lot of stuff, and they would miss all those golden years with their children. So, Vajeha, can you hear me?
Okay, sorry. So I think internet technology.
Oh, it's okay. Yeah,
Okay, so I think it was at a good point because we were just concluding the session. Okay,
we were concluding and it finished.
yes. Okay. So any takeaways that you would want to, like, you have already talked about how you would want to see teachers in classrooms. So for me, I think it should be a very community effort to implement social emotional learning, like as parents, as teachers, in order to have a better community and not just restricted to a lesson plan because it looks good in a lesson plan. So I think we need to think
No, it is beyond the
beyond.
lesson plan. The
Yes,
magic should be, spilled beyond that. The magic beans
true.
are, like, yeah. Once you start learning about this social and emotional learning, and once you start implementing it, once you start practicing it, it's a process. It's not just like you are doing it in your lesson and it's like an activity, you are integrating it, you are incorporating it, but it is something like a process. It starts, from the first day of your academic session with those children, and if you are a parent, and then it starts when your child is, they are growing up, navigating, regulating their emotions, and making peers and making friends. So it lasts throughout your life. You make good friends, you build strong relationships, you build strong friendships, you build a strong connection, you take responsible decisions, and you take good and healthy decisions, and you become a healthy person. That's important.
Thank you. We have comments from LinkedIn also.
Yeah, thank you, my boss is there.
That's good.
Coming from the boss is something like very elating.
Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think let's spill, like, Jack had those magic beans which grew into the beanstalk and leads the
Oh,
swirl. I
it's a
think
beautiful story. Yeah.
yes, so I think SCL should be like that magic bean which we
Hmm.
sort of just throw around, and we should see
Exactly.
SCL
Hmm.
stocks growing, right? SCL bean stocks growing basically.
Grown up, yeah. When they are
Yes,
grown up, when they come back to you, and you are
yes,
their former teacher, waiting for them to say goodbye, or or attending their graduation ceremony. They come back to you. They reflect
exactly.
those years. So it always comes
Okay,
back. Kindness is something that you start teaching your kids. It would come back to you, and as a, you can't take out this kindness thing and emotional learning thing from this social and emotional concept.
thank you, Talha. And I do know that you have been feeling a disconnect between your own learning and because of certain reasons that you're
Talha,
staying
thank you
home.
so much. This is
So
really like
I'm so
great to
grateful
see
that
you
you
here.
enjoyed the session. We will have a very deep conversation later on.
Include me too, huh?
Oh, definitely. I think we can create a group chat
Yeah,
and
we have
talk
made
about
we have made connections, Talha and me also.
so see, this is how it works. It's SCL works in the same manner that you create these uh, really good relationships and you keep people together.
Hmm.
It comes with, okay, it's not like always we won't always be on the same page. I mean, I'll tell you something very personal about Talha and me.
Hmm.
If she doesn't like something about me, she will say it on my face the way it needs to be said. She will not like
Hmm.
cushion it in any manner. So this is like
Hmm.
a very positive relationship. That's because, and that's how I actually
So,
literally trusted,
Vajiha, this
like I
is
tell
this is
you.
how it is. Yeah, yeah. This is how
So
it is.
that's
Like
how
you.
So, okay, now let's wrap up the session before we go into any personal details and spill out the beans of our life. People and people come to know the gossip in our
People
life.
would start stalking you. Yeah.
Yes, and all of us. So, okay, thank you, Sidra, for
Okay.
being there. And for all the people who have been watching us, the video is available on the YouTube channel. Okay, you just need to go subscribe. Click the subscribe button, please. I feel like I'm advertising myself.
You
Um,
are being now.
but yes, I am now. Okay. So
Yeah,
if
if you
you
want longer, yeah,
yes, if you want longer content,
yeah,
plus I'll be developing more. I have been developing and I am developing more content just for YouTube as well.
yes.
My Facebook, my LinkedIn, my YouTube, everything has a different type of, like, a contextualized content, but it's all interlinked and it's just for
Mm-hmm.
educators, teachers, everyone. So go enjoy yourself. We are planning more things. When I say we, it means a lot of people, including Sidra. We are planning a lot of things. So stay connected, stay tuned, okay? And Sidra, see you. Get well soon.
Thank
Have
you,
a lot of.
everyone.
Okay, thank
Thank
you.
you, everyone.
Bye
Thank you,
bye.
Vajiha, for having me. Bye bye.
Bye bye. Have a
Take
great
care.
evening. You too.
Yeah, you too. Have a great time, everyone. Thank you.